Oh, it's BuzzFeed. We all know how much I love BuzzFeed.
What's the deal with Santa? So breaking and entering is okay long as it's a chubby white dude. And he's eating your mama's cookies? Mm-mm.
I don't even begin, my gosh. I'm just caught off guard. I'm like, what?
I think they're definitely trying to play on the whole racial instability that we kind of have going on right now.
Yeah, I guess that's a racist card right there.
If you're looking at just pure normal American Santa, then yeah, he's a big chubby white dude, but if you look at him from different cultures, he's actually, for one thing, different skin colors. Two, he's honestly like a very different person overall, but there is a Santa for every culture.
I guess when you put it as breaking and entering is kind of like unexpected. You don't know what's happening and they're taking your things, but it's like, we left these things for you to take.
Santa is Saint Nicholas, you know? It's okay, because he's leaving me gifts. I don't know.
I guess it's kind of a mutual relationship where Santa comes in, brings you gifts, and it's kind of custom to leave him cookies.
And I think the cookies are for Dad. The people sat down, they were like, all right, Jimmy, here's the thing. Santa brings presents. And the dad's like, oh yeah, you also have to make cookies for him.
He's just Santa. I mean, he's not real, or unless you're children. So.
When are you gonna stop asking me if I pray 5 times a day? That's so mean. Because I don't. I feel guilty.
If you feel guilty, maybe that's because you should be doing it, right? I mean, that's what I learned in school was like, oh yeah, Muslims pray 5 times a day. That's like a pillar of their faith. And I'm like, oh, sweet, that's awesome. I should start praying 5 times a day, you know, because they were at all times.
Some people could be really curious because they don't pray 5 times a day, so they want to know like how someone's able to do that.
I would ask someone how they find times to pray. That was my first question for my Muslim friend. In high school, I was like, oh, when do you pray, like, in the middle of the day? And she was like, oh, I just, you know, like, I go to my car and I pray. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That's great.
He must be one of those liberal Muslims. I actually have Muslim friends like that, too, at Penn State. Like, he would tell me, yeah, we're supposed to pray 5 times a day, but I don't. He'd also say, like, yeah, I don't follow everything in the Quran, but, you know, I'm supposed to. In a way, he feels that Allah isn't as merciful as we Christians find God to be. So he basically feels like he's fallen already and he's already down, and so he doesn't feel like he can really get up. But I don't think that all Muslims think that way. So it's just maybe he was, you know, informed that that Allah isn't merciful. You know, he's just like master slave.
Why must you put bacon in everything?
Bacon infused donuts? Come on now.
Is this water safe to drink? There's bacon in this water, huh?
I mean, I kind of understand in the sense that if on Fridays people are always serving meat, I was like, where's the fish?
Bacon is awesome. And that's the one thing when I encounter a lot of Muslims is the big no-no. Like, you know, no eating of pork, but there are other things in the 5 pillars of Islam that they don't follow. But it's like the one main thing is definitely not eating pork. What about the rest? Praying 5 times a day and the Hajj. Why so picky about the bacon and pork? I love pork. Sorry.
I love bacon because bacon is freaking amazing, but why the heck do we put bacon on everything?
It brings us together. Let's just be honest. It just brings most people together. It's an American thing. I don't know.
Bacon is like an American pastime. It's like baseball.
Bacon is life, but only if you're American.
It's a delicious breakfast food, but putting it in everything, like, okay, I had candied bacon at Bob Evans the other day, and it was just really sweet and cloying, and I understand why people who can't eat bacon would be upset at our obsession with bacon. I am sorry.
My sister went to culinary arts school. One of the projects that she had to do was like make a bacon-themed dinner, and they wound up having to make bacon ice cream. Who does that? It's disgusting.
Do you really think women wearing a hijab don't have hair underneath? Do you think that when you see someone with a beanie, a hat, a hoodie?
Nope, I've never thought that actually.
Do people think that? That's stupid.
I think most people just understand that it's a religious thing.
Why would I think you have no hair? Is that an actual thing? Do people not even religion?
This question irks me a little bit because it's like it paints people that aren't Muslims and don't know much about Islam as being completely ignorant and borderline stupid on a not religious level.
I find like a lot of these BuzzFeed's videos that have these questions for people that don't agree with them, ask a bunch of questions that those people don't actually hold to be true. So I'm kind of wondering what the point of this video is, if it's just to respond to trolls. In that case, if you're a 1 million subscriber YouTube channel, you should know there's no point in responding to like absolute trolls that don't know what they're talking about.
That seems like the same thing that middle school children would think about nuns who taught them back in the day, that the nuns didn't have hair. There's this one story where a sister was playing, I think, baseball or something with her kids out during recess, and she went and she hit the ball, and her habit actually flew off, and everybody was shocked because she actually had hair underneath the habit. So I don't think because a woman is wearing something over her head that she is bald.
Why do you think all Muslims are Arab?
There aren't 1 billion people in the Middle East. That's geographically, physically, intellectually impossible.
I think that's just another generalization of that people might make of the Mr. Trump supporters. Maybe that's what they're thinking that they think. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people really believe that all Muslims are Arab. I'm sure they've met people of other ethnicities that are not.
Hey, I'm from Nigeria, and like I had neighbors who are Nigerian and Muslim.
I have friends who are Caucasian and they're Arab. I mean, Muslim, oh my gosh.
I think because it's not, people don't realize it's as integrated and multicultural as any other religion is, because oftentimes when we see a Muslim, we usually see Arab, we usually think Middle East. That's the only place where it's really, really concentrated, and we don't think about, hey, it's a belief system that extends beyond just a certain ethnic group.
The general stereotype of, Muslims are that, they're Arab because that's where the religion started, and the required dress for Muslim people, like mainly Muslim women, is Arab. So head coverings for sand, Religion carries cultures to other places. Like there are people in Vietnam who dress like they live in the Middle East because of their faith, and I think that's one of the reasons why.
I think that some people may think of it as a racial religion, that you have to be maybe born into this race because Ishmael, was Middle Eastern, and Muhammad takes his origins from Ishmael. So maybe that's why they think that.
Why are only Muslims mentioned in talks about religious extremism? Did y'all forget about the KKK? Westboro Baptist Church, Crusades. We all have the bad seeds in the family.
Oh no! Okay, let's wrap. We're gonna talk about the Westboro Baptist Church. The Westboro Baptist Church has like 50 people in it, right? In a little small town. There's religious extremism all over the Middle East. The entire country of Syria has people running away from religious extremism.
I think the Westboro Baptist Church really just it's hate speech, it's terrible, but I think when people talk about religious extremism, they're talking about actions.
They brought up the Crusades. You know why the Crusades exist? It was because radical Muslims tried to take over the entirety of Western Europe, and by the time it was almost complete, the Crusades came. Not saying that everything that happened during them was great, but the Crusades are not nearly as bad as what these people think.
The Crusades were because of Muslim aggression against the Christians. This is stupid. I don't like it.
I've heard about the KKK. I learned that in history class. I think in every history class where racial relations are brought up, you're gonna learn about the KKK. The Westboro Baptist Church, anyone who has internet and watches mainstream TV, think that's, you know about them. And the Crusades, if you take history class too as well, you should know about that. I guess why they're mentioned in talks is because this is what's currently happening at the moment.
The KKK and Crusades, they're not as relevant anymore, I don't think.
Actually, that one I definitely agree with. We focus way too much on Muslim extremism, and I know it's really public in this day and age because of the attacks by ISIS and other things that are maybe not the best examples or representations of Islam, but definitely do align themselves with Islam.
I think that's another thing about 9/11 is because that being such a recent event has been so ingrained in our minds. Like, this is what happens with, religious extremism, and then we also have ISIS as well as Al-Qaeda.
There are definitely also Christian extremists, atheist extremists. I don't know, are there Hindu extremists? Someone find me Hindu extremists.
It's easier to look at things outside of us rather than things inside of us.
Christian extremists would be the ones who wish for atheists or otherwise non-conforming individuals to be hurt, to go to hell, to endure pain and suffering. Several of the mass shooters in the past 10 years have been Christians who have been seeking to kill people. I mean, there's not one ideology, no matter how much we may disagree with it, no matter how violent their history may be, cannot force people to become evil. And some people are going to abuse the Christian ideology and become horrible, nasty people. I think the only real answer to extremism is prayer and love. Yes, you can go out and you can fight, and you should. I'm not saying you should just lie down and let other people be killed. It is allowed by the church to go out, to kill in self-defense and in defense of others who are innocent and weak, but at the same time, you should also pray for your enemies and give an example of what it means to be loving, what it means to be courageous and peaceful and just radically loving God by loving our neighbors, even the ones we don't particularly like. So until we are actually committed not only to destroying extremism in terms of giving military support to those who are suffering, but also to destroying it ideologically by letting people understand how much God loves them and how much God loves people so that we have to stop hurting each other because of that love, we're not going to get rid of it. Because in the end, radical hate can really only be overcome by the radical love of God.